we're given the sine of theta and we're given its location. That's what this is. So this is 0. This is pi over 2 in radians. If you go around the circle, this is pi, and this is 3 pi over 2. And when you get back around to 0, you're at 2 pi, and it just repeats. So when they tell us that our angle is between 0 and pi over 2, what they are telling us is that we need to draw our angle here. And because theta is always defined as the angle between this line and the x-axis, this is the angle we're looking at. Now, if you could make a vertical line from our line down to the x-axis, this would be a right triangle. And so we can use SOHCAHTOA, that the sine is the opposite side over the hypotenuse, and that the cosine is the adjacent side, right down here, over the hypotenuse. So this is the hypotenuse, this is the opposite side, and this is the adjacent side. So if the sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and we also know, because it's given right here, that it's 3 over 5, that means that the opposite side must have a length of 3, and the hypotenuse must have a length of 5. So then we're going to go a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we're going to find out that b squared is 16 and that b is either plus or minus 4. Now it's important to know which one it is because we are here where x is positive, so we're going to use the plus. We're going to use the plus. If they had said it was back here, we'd have to use the minus. Now, now we need to find the cosine. So we know this is the sine. The cosine is the adjacent, which is the 4, over the hypotenuse, which is 5. Now, the reason we need it is because there's a formula to find the half angle. And it says that the sine of theta over 2 is plus or minus the square root of 1 minus the cosine of theta, which we just figured out right here is 4/5 all over 2. So if you think about this, if you were going to cut theta in half, it would be like here. And this has a positive sign because it's above the x-axis. So this has a positive sign. And so we are going to use the plus sign here. Okay, so I don't have to write plus or minus anymore. I just need to fill in information. So the sine of theta over 2 is the positive square root of 1 minus, the cosine is 4/5, and that's all over 2. Let me make this look like a 5. Now we just have to simplify this. So this is a fraction, so we need a common denominator. Multiply top and bottom by 5. And this becomes 5/5 minus 4/5 all over 2. And this becomes 1/5 over 2. And if you remember how this is really division, this is really 1/5 divided by 2. and we'll make it 2 over 1. And the way you do that is you keep the first one, you switch to multiply, and flip the second one. So this is really 1/10 under that radical. Okay, so now the last thing we have to do is realize that the square root of 1/10 is the square root of 1 over the square root of 10. And the square root of 1 is 1. And you just leave the square root of 10 here. Now, that's the answer. But if your teacher wants you to rationalize your answers, you'll have to rationalize this by multiplying top and bottom by the square root of 10, and then you'll get the square root of 10 divided by 10. And that will be your answer.